Welcome to Mental Health Matters podcast, where we talk about real stories that affect us every day. Every family has moments of worry, but some families live in it day after day, quietly carrying anxiety like invisible luggage. We see the families smile on photos, but behind them, there is pressure to be perfect, the fear of failing each other, and the silence that grows when no one knows how to talk about it. Anxiety just doesn't live in one person. It can echo through generations. Parents pass down fears without even realizing it. Kids grow up thinking that stress is normal. But what if we could stop that cycle? What if families could learn to breathe together, to listen to one another, to love instead of panic? Today, we are talking about the truth behind family anxiety, how it shows up, how it hurts, and how we heal together. Because anxiety doesn't make a family weak, it makes them human. Today, I am in the studio with our guest, Mr. Hemin Mbono. Welcome.
Thank you.
Vadel Mbono, welcome.
Thank you.
Would you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Okay, so I'm Vadel. I am currently an undergraduate student at McGill studying international development. I also am a co founder of a nonprofit called Cameroon's Jewels. We source jewelry from African vendors and we sell them online and in person. And all the profits go back into empowering African youth through education or encouraging their independence, everything like that. So, thank you for having me here today.
You're welcome, Mr. Mbono. Would you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, so I'm Herman Bono, a dad, a parent, a husband. Um, I am a professional nurse by profession. I'm a mental health nurse practitioner. I've been doing mental health nursing for over 12 years. I work with the government as well as have my own private consultation business online. Herjoy Telesante, so it's HERJOY, telesante.ca. So I'm happy to be here to discuss anxiety, which is like one of my favorite topic in mental health.
Thank you. You are welcome. Vadero, what does anxiety mean to you personally?
I think anxiety is a form of fear and overthinking. It's a way that, your brain is responding or you personally are responding to a scenario or the thought of a possible situation happening. So I think that's what it is.
As a mental health nurse practitioner, would you please explain what is anxiety in psychological perspective?
Yes. So anxiety, basically, if I can put it in two words, is just fear of unknown, right? It's just you're afraid of the unknown. You have different thoughts in your head that makes you feel afraid of what is gonna happen, and if you cannot control this thought, it becomes difficult. It becomes an anxiety. But in life, we do have real anxiety, right? Like coming here while driving, I was anxious we're gonna be late. Those are anxiety that drives you to do things better, right? When you're going to school, you have an exam, you feel anxious, you study so you don't fail the exam. Those are good anxiety. Yeah, so that's how I look at it. It's many thoughts about your future, about today, about tomorrow that runs in your head in order to make you a better person.
Do you think anxiety runs in families?
I would say yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, in the sense that there are different models or that has been studied that shows that kids growing in a home where parents were very anxious or having different kinds of anxiety, they end up being get picking some of the elements of anxiety. It becomes innate. If you grow up seeing your parents stress about everything, anxious about everything, worried about everything, or telling you to be a certain way, you're gonna grow up shaping your own construct to be that way, right? I would say no, because there are kids who grow in home that are like that, but they end up not being anxious. So it all depends on how your biology is, your system is, how you can tolerate certain things. But we all have baseline anxiety for sure. Everybody have an anxiety that keeps them driving, keeps
That's
them
right.
going.
That's right. How do you notice when your parents are anxious?
Um, I think that I notice when my parents are anxious is when they're snappy. Like when when like something little that wouldn't usually bother them, like bothers them. That's when I know that okay, well there's definitely something off, like something's going wrong. And then that's when I'm just like, okay, I'll step back and like, give you your space and I won't bother you too much.
How do you notice anxiety among your children?
Well, I notice anxiety like the way I notice is they might, withdrawn or not looking you in the eye or be mostly in their room or not talking much or like different in the way they behave, right? Or they could become more irritable or the way they talk to you and stuff like that. That's the way I notice anxiety.
Dealing with children, especially in this generation, do you think sometimes parents may confuse anxiety with bad behavior or moodiness?
Absolutely, absolutely. I do think parents do. I'm also a corporate. If you don't talk to your kids, you don't talk to them, you don't know what they're going through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, just a side note, like in my practice, people come to see me at a later age, or even kids, teenagers, or mid age. The theme that come up a lot is that they didn't feel like heard from their parents, right? They had this internal anxiety going on, but it was being brushed off like, oh, you're different from other people, you've been difficult, change is easy, but they didn't really find out what was going on with them. So I do think that sometimes we perceive anxiety as a weakness, especially from our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Perceive anxiety as a child being difficult, perceive anxiety as uh, not being like everybody else. Yes.
Vadel, what are some of the things that parents say or do that make anxiety worse for kids?
Would that make anxiety worse for kids?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that when they when let's say when like a child is in a state of like anxiousness or they're overthinking something,
Mm-hmm.
and then going back to the point of mistaking that anxiety for anyways for being difficult, it's like when you're like like for me personally, when I'm like overthinking something or when I'm stressed about like multiple things to do, I can be withdrawn, I can be like distant, and like I don't want to communicate with anyone, I don't want to talk to anyone, and it's just like I'm already stressed about what I have to do, I don't want to have to deal with communicating with people either. And I think that like that's like my withdrawal is often taken the wrong way, and then it's also taken as being like difficult. So sometimes that's like approached in a way, like in that moment where I don't want to communicate is the moment where there's like a clash with communication. So I think that like in terms of like for me personally, in terms of anxiety, space is very important, like space to deal with that anxiety and then to just move on. But when that space isn't given to deal with that anxiety, then it's like more anxiety piles up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Today's world, we have a lot
Mhm.
of financial stress as
Mhm.
parents to take
Mhm.
care of our children.
Mhm.
And also, we worry about their safety.
Mhm.
How does that affect your children emotionally?
Yeah, absolutely. Like today, believe it or not, our perceptions are also shaped by what we watch online media and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure that you leave something for your kids. You want to make sure that they're educated. You want to make sure that all these things happen. At the same time, you're trying to prepare all this without taking proper care of your own self as a parent, right? And doing that creates this anxiety because it's never enough, right? You want to do this for them, you want to do this for them, you want to make sure they have this, but it's never enough. At what point is it enough? And the more you keep piling up and piling up, you get stressed as a parent. And sometimes it takes away your parental responsibility, right? That time to spend with them, to play with them, ask them they value that more than whatever you're gonna give them financially. I do feel that yes, you can keep something for your kids, you can prepare them, pay for their school and stuff like that. But the true finance that you can give them is the education and the love and the presence
That's
to be with
right.
them. Yeah.
That's right. That's most important.
Yes.
You might have a lot of money. You might
Correct.
be rich, a lot of wealth, but if there's no love, if you are not emotionally present, sometimes it doesn't mean anything. You are all disconnected or you become a
Correct.
dismantled family. Vadel, so talking about financial stress, your perspective, do you expect your daddy and mom to do everything for you financially?
No, 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 absolutely no. I think that my parents have really done a good job in terms of kind of making me like take responsibility and understanding why it's important to take responsibility. Like not because my parents are well off. We don't have financial struggles. Of course, as immigrants, we had to move through those phases and get to where we are. But at the moment, like everything is okay. I'm not going to say that there's anything we're facing, but I do take on like the responsibilities of taking care of myself. Like I'm not going to ask my parents, "Oh, give me an allowance for," like to me that's crazy, right? Especially if I'm working. And if you're working, you need to start learning how to be responsible with your money, how to budget your money and how to, allocate um different your money for different things that are important. Like how to like decide, okay, this is important, this is what I need now. Like when I was younger, I was like, oh, I want to get my nails done. I want to get my lashes done. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then like I started working and then I started taking responsibility. And then I was like, no, no, we're not spending my money on those things. But if I was working and my parents were giving me allowance on top of that, then it would have just been like I wouldn't have had a good understanding of what it really meant to be financially responsible.
Yeah, because some children think it's a right for their parents to give them allowance and do everything for them. They don't think it's a privilege. And then you find a lot of parents go through that pressure mentally because they have to sustain and provide for their children. Like you said, Mr. Hemen, that you have to teach them, to educate them, to earn the money for themselves. It's like what they say, you don't fish for the children, but you teach them how to fish.
Yes.
And when you teach them, it means you are building even their future, that when they grow up, they will be financially responsible. So I actually emulate that good thing. I wish all parents could do the same, because sometimes you find a lot of families are go through arguments about why are you not giving, and especially in schools, in colleges, there are some families who are well to do, they have it. We have the have and the have nots. But then the children will put pressure because they also want to have that Gucci, those designers that the other children do have. So also, how can families break that cycle of pretending that everything is fine?
What I would say is, especially in today's world, everything looks perfect, right? Like we're in the studio, it's all beautiful, we all look nice, but you don't know how we drove to come here. You don't know the hurdles, how I
That's
wake up from
right.
sleep, how I looked. We don't know, like the things behind the scene. We don't know. We don't look at the perfect presentation. That's how the world is today. I would tell parents and other people listening to this podcast that there's no perfect situation. There's no perfect family. There's no perfect daughter. There's no perfect son. What you do see as pictures, as posters presented, there's a story behind it that you don't see. Try it when you. So I would just say that for today or for now, for in order to break this circle,
Mm-hmm.
is to keep on communicating with your kids, see what they're going through, tell them that whatever you watch out there, don't think it's real. Don't don't take it for what it is. Know that it's not really true. I'll give an example. My son likes to watch. There's this family on YouTube where it's like a perfect family. They go each time he's watching it. I tell him I don't like it. He says, "Dad, why?" I said, "Because it's not true. It's not real."
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I said, because it's
Exactly.
not real, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I said, because
exactly.
it's not real. And then,
Mm-hmm.
so just little things like that change your perception and break the cycle.
Yes. Vadel, how do you create emotional safety when you see that your siblings, your brother, your sister, your mom and dad are overwhelmed?
Um, I would go, I'll start with my brother. So usually I think that when I see that he's overwhelmed with, because he's younger, he's like 7. So when I see that he's overwhelmed with emotion, I think that's the most important time to be patient. Like, especially because younger kids, like, they're still learning how to manage their emotions and deal with it all.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the most important thing is to be patient with him. So I tell him, like, okay, take deep breaths, right? Like, before we talk about like how you're feeling and why you're feeling the way you're feeling, right, and what went wrong,
Mm-hmm.
you need to take deep breaths before, like, don't, yeah. And then after that, then now we start communicating about, okay, how do you feel? Why do you feel the way that you feel? And then we'll eventually get to a conclusion that we both kind of, agree and understand on. We could even disagree, but we get to a conclusion where it's like either agree to disagree or agree. And I think that with my parents, and it's just communication. It's patience and communication. I think that's the key.
Oh, okay, thank you. What's your advice for families to manage stress?
There's really no single advice, but there are different things family can do to manage stress because we live in a country where stress is a normality. You
Yes.
get stress from work, get stress from family, from different angles.
Mm-hmm.
Is to find times to do the things that you enjoy as a family. Find time to do the things that you love, right? It could be eating at the dinner table, some food that brings some nostalgia, or just eat something, talk, um, play together, have some fun time. Like that's what I would say. Like take time to disconnect from whatever is out there and have some special moment with your family, and of course, talk to each other because sometimes. Um, Somebody might be going through something, right? But they present as well, but deep inside they're worried and they don't want to share it with you. Just, are you okay? How was your day? Little things like that. It helps.
Do you also think that those families who are facing challenges, struggles, that therapy can also work for them?
Yes, in the context of everybody and specifically us, blacks or African, where mental health is like a taboo. I think that there are a lot of resources out there before it gets worse. There are a lot of resources where you can contact both public and private to help you. Like if your child is behaving a certain way, you've seen that they're going, you really tried your best, things are not going. I think at some point you need a professional to help you, right? And you can contact your local CLSC where they have a lot of help for youth. If you call them now, the government make it very easy. You just need to walk up there and tell them, "Oh, I want services for my kids." They'll write it down, and somebody's gonna call you. From there, you can get help. Because with us, for example, in the community where I come from, seeking help, people are afraid that, oh, if I go, they might take away my kids.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
That's the
social
thinking.
workers.
Yeah, they were
Mm-hmm.
gonna say, I'm a bad parent, like blaming.
Mm-hmm.
You're not blaming yourself. You're trying to help the child. It's not about you. It's about that child. You want a better future for them. So seek the help. There are many out there. There's line that you can call 811. The different lines that you can call to talk to professionals, and they'll guide you. You can also talk to not only professional, talk to somebody else. You have somebody in your community who is a mental health professional or a social worker or a psychologist. Sometimes it's difficult to share these very personal issues, but
Mm-hmm.
you can tell them in another way, right? Like I have a friend having this problem, not really through you to see what will be the advice. You try that. But if it's difficult and harder, I advise you to seek for help because you can't do it by yourself.
Thank you. What's your advice to children who are facing anxiety silently?
My advice to them would be to reach out. It's the same thing. Reach out to someone, find someone that you're confident with, and make sure that the person that you are reaching out to is a good example. Because I find that the mistake when we say like reach out, I think that people, mostly of my generation, like you're reaching out and kind of making someone your confidant that's not really the person that would give you good advice, right? Like if you're reaching out to your friend who's also facing a similar level of anxiety or worse, and you guys are advising each other, that doesn't work. That's not like that. That's not what the reaching out is supposed to be. You both need help. So when you're make sure that when you're reaching out to somebody, that person is an exemplary person of what you want to resemble emotionally, right? Or just life wise or everything, right? Do you know that person personally? What are they actually like? What's your judgment of their character? So don't go to someone who is also bad at handling stress, who's also has anxiety issues and expect them to give you good advice. Just because you guys are close friends and you have great conversation doesn't mean that it's the right person to go to.
I commend both of you as father and daughter for being open-minded, the way you listen to each other, the way you communicate with each other. It makes to create a safer space and safer home for your children to communicate with you, not to be silent on their own. And it helps also for families to have mentally solid spaces. If our audience or anyone wants to reach to you for consultation, would you please tell where they can reach?
Yes, in my private practice, it's herjoytelesante.ca. So herjoy is spelled HERJOY, telesante.ca. That's the website. You can get everything from there.
Thank you, Vadel. Can you also tell our audience about your nonprofit organization if you need support?
Yes. So to reach us or check out our website, search up Cameroon's Jewels. So that's Cameroon spelled with OO and then the S apostrophe F, apostrophe S. And search us up on any social media, Instagram, Facebook. You will find us. So yeah, you'll find us, donate, check out the work we do, shop on our shop and buy a piece of jewelry.
Thank you so much. Anxiety doesn't make a family broken, it makes them human. The power lies not in pretending it's not there, but in facing it together. The cure for family anxiety starts with an honest conversation, being open-minded, listen, communicate, and being observant. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. If you like it, please subscribe, share, and we'll also bring you more about mental health in our next episodes. And to our viewers and audience, you all have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.